Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you haven't subscribed to the channels, please do so. Also, please like the video. If you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in the bio section of my social media account. Now, this is going to be a big week because on Wednesday we have FOMC, and usually in FOMC we usually just have a statement in Powell's speech, but this time we have the guidance and economic projections on top of it. So this is going to be a big FOMC meeting. So this could be talking about tapering, inflation, future guidance, and Powell's other comments. So this one could be a monster mover. So definitely going to need to be in the room for this one. And usually when we have FOMC on Wednesday, it's probably going to be a chop and grind or a gap and grind kind of Monday and Tuesday and first half of Wednesday. So not much might happen. So, but we'll just trade what the market gives us on Monday and Tuesday and just get ready for Wednesday, because Wednesday is going to be the big mover, and probably Thursday will probably be a big mover too. The after effects and when things actually set in, because a lot of the times FOMC will pop on that day, and then on Thursday it will be a really big down day. So when things actually take time to set in and people think about, oh wow, what did this is actually means this. So yeah, we usually end up seeing that happen sometimes. So enough with that. So I do have a few on the bearish side and a few on the bullish. So I actually will go and do the bearish side first, but the gap ups, the gap downs are going to change the dynamics of the play, and FOMC is the big anomaly this week. So we'll just see what happens when it happens. So that's why you need to be in the room. And every morning I post a few trade ideas that opened in throughout the day, so that way you guys can see what I'm looking at and stuff like that ahead of time, or at least I try to put it ahead of time. So yeah, Microsoft, I was bullish looking for the dip last week, but now I'm seeing a head and shoulders on the hourly. You get the left shoulder here, the head, and the right shoulder. So underneath the Friday's lows of 290, you can see 299 for push. You get a gap fill right here at 297.50. So you can see a push to 297, 296, 294, 295 area. So I would think it would likely bounce in this 294 area, but it does have a little ways to go on the weekly. I mean, the RCT trend line is at the 275-ish area, so it could drop to 290, 288 to 285. So we'll have to see how much Microsoft does pull back, if it does pull back at all. I mean, it could just end up breaking and making new all-time highs. So never underestimate Microsoft's ability to just keep going, because it doesn't usually dip that much, but maybe it will going into FOMC, fears of interest rate hikes or other possible what do I want to call it, reducing, tapering I should say. UPS is another one. Now I was looking at it for it to bounce, but it just looks so weak now. Over here when I was looking at it, I mean, it looked like it was going to break out. It got slammed, and it does have a gap fill right here. So if it does manage to get below this 180, we'll say 189. What's Friday's low? Yeah, we'll say 189. It gets below this 188 area, it's going to probably fill the gap down to 180. So definitely watch UPS for a possible gap fill. WeDay is another one. I don't think I've ever traded it. If I have, it hasn't been very much. Now looking at the weekly, gets up to this level, rejects, and it had a big couple green candles, like one here, one here. It had a little small candle that it dumped. Did the same thing here, big green candle, smaller green candle, a little red candle, and it could possibly have a dump right here, the next one. So I mean, this is a little green candle, but we could have another dump right here. So it does manage to get below Friday's lows of 286 for a push to 286, 260. 268. I got the sun in my eyes in my window. 268, 265, 264. Then you get a gap fill all the way down here to the 250 area. So it does have a significant gap to fill. So I would watch for that to get filled this week. That's all I have on the bearish list. But like I said, news and gap up and gap downs will change the dynamics of the play. Zoom is what I have on the bullish side. I was watching it. This seems like pretty extreme drop, and likely try to have a dead cat bounce. Had a little bit right here, but then it sold off more. But I had a nice day on Friday, so I might see a continuation over 289 for push to well, you get 290, 300. 300 would be the big psychological number. Now, if it does manage to get over this 305, 306 area, could try to make a gap fill. But I would think it would most likely get to the 306, 310 area and reject, because it really hasn't tested the gap's resistance yet. I mean, it did right here, but made it more of like a bearish flag and just went down more. So I would most likely think it's going to reject this area and pull back and probably make a possible inverted head and shoulders before making that gap fill. But we'll have to see what happens. Zoom is one of those stocks that just has a mind of its own, and it could just end up taking off. So Roku is another one. Roku I've been watching for a few days, and I really like it now. It gets over 325. It's going to probably end up having one of these monster days, because when Roku gets strength behind it, you just have massive pops like this and like this. This is like a $50 run right there. So when Roku gets strength behind it, you could easily see a $25 to $50 run in a single day. And it's got an inverted head and shoulders right here on the hourly. You got the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. It gets over 325, it's going to take off. So probably 335, 340, 350, 360, and stuff like that. So, but it's got a lot of resistance right here in the 375, so we'll have to see how high it can go. But I definitely really like Roku, and Roku has a habit of making strong moves on Mondays when prices are high, so I would not be surprised if tomorrow is the day that it just takes off. So Win is another one I'm watching. It's just been getting beat down and gapped down and gapped down again, and now it's like staying in this little, it's got a descending triangle right here. I mean, worst case, it could end up dropping down to the $70 range, but I would watch it over 85 for a push to 86.50 for a push to 90, probably fill the gap at 90 and possibly even make a run to 95. So we'll have to see what Win will do with that. Tesla is another one. Now Tesla, Tesla's got the infrastructure bill. Now on the hourly, you have the inverted head and shoulders. You get the left, the head, and the right, and it does manage to get over this 65 area. It's probably going to make a monster run to probably 800. Then you got this 900 area. So well, you got like 820, 850, then 900. So this could be a strong week for Tesla, especially if the infrastructure bill passes. Next is Twitter. Now Twitter and pins I've been watching for a while, and I just have mixed feelings about pins especially, but I'll get to that in a second. But I get another inverted head and shoulders, left head, right shoulder right here. It does get over we'll say 62, we'll say 63, and it'll probably push to 64, 65, practically every whole dollar. And it does manage to stick to the patterns pretty well, because you had a head and shoulders right here. You get the left, the head, and the right shoulder, and it dropped, flagged, and dropped. So now you get an inverted head and shoulder. So maybe it will get to 65, 66, maybe even 67 area. So if it does manage to get to 67 right here, it's going to find a lot of resistance right here in the 68 area. So if it does manage to break that, I mean, it could go to 70, 72, 73. So, and on the weekly, it did bounce off the RCT trend line, which is this orange line right here, bounced right off it. So we could see a nice strong move to 70. So I would watch that this week, as long as FOMC doesn't mess it up. But it could make a nice run Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, with that said, pins, pins, every time it gets it in the morning, it takes off, it pop and drops. I mean, right here, is this the morning? No, where is it? Right here. It's opening candle, it's been pop and drop, pops up and then it drops. And right here is this opening, yeah, pops and drops, pops and drops. I mean, every morning, it gives you a mixed signal every single morning. So I've been kind of staying away from it because of that. But I mean, it keeps doing that. It's gonna end up breaking out because the more it tests the higher day, the more likely it's gonna end up breaking out. So I would watch it over 55 for push to 55, 50, 56. Basically every 50 cents is going to be resistance, 56.50, 57, 57.50. Then you get gap resistance at 60.50. I don't think it's going to break that on the first shot. It's going to end up rejecting it the first time because I mean technically ever since it dropped it has not gone and retested it at all. I mean, it did right here, but I'm talking about when it actually does drop more, it's going to go up and at least retest it and come back down before making a run to break it. But I don't think it's going to get over 60.50. So I think the run in it's not going to be that much at first. So DLTR is another one. Now DLTR it's just been getting beaten down the last couple of weeks. Going into Christmas season, retail season, I would still watch it over, we'll say over 90, say 90, 50 for push to the 92, 94 area. Then you get gap resistance right here at 98. 100 be a big psychological number. Now, if it does manage to get over 98 and 100, I might try to fill the gap too. Technically, the gap is up here because it dropped from 106, but depends on how you look at it. I would look at it from the gap from up here because that's where it was before, as you can see right here. So I could try to fill that, but we'll have to see, because usually when DLTR has a strong day, it has a strong week, it has a really strong week. I mean, look at this candle right here, went from 95 to 112, so went up almost $20. So that's a pretty big significant move on DLTR when it has strong days. So we could end up seeing not strong day, strong week. We could end up seeing a strong week on DLTR this week and next week. TGT is another one. Target, I've been kind of watching that. It doesn't really like to pull the back that much. I mean, the sweet spot is a 20 EMA. It did pull back below it here, but I mean, here, here, it almost got it here, here, and now here. Well, no, that didn't get it there, but right here. So I would watch Target over Friday's high of 249, 250, 252. 254 and 256. Now the all-time high is 267. So gets over this 255, 256 area. You get the next big area is at 260. Does manage to get over that, it's probably going to go to all-time high. And Target is just one that doesn't really pull back that much, and when it does, that's your time to get in, and it keeps going. This thing this is almost as bad as Costco. So, which I don't have Costco. I looked at it, but Costco is just keeps going insane. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the watch list. Hopefully see you in the room, and thanks for watching.